Headlines erupted with shocking news, a potential disruption to the vital link between the United States and its northernmost state. The media was ablaze with speculation, painting a picture of unprecedented tension. Rumors of a Canada route shutdown sent tremors from Washington, D.C. to Alaska. The very idea that the established passage could be compromised sparked immediate concern, raising questions about logistical nightmares and economic repercussions. Former President Donald Trump was reportedly blindsided by a move from America's closest ally. Sources close to the former president suggested he viewed the potential shutdown as a personal affront, given his administration's focus on trade negotiations. But what's really happening along the world's longest undefended border? Is this a genuine threat to sever ties, or a calculated move in a high-stakes game of international politics? This isn't about barricades or closed highways. It's not a physical blockade, but something far more nuanced and potentially more damaging. Instead, it's a saga of economic brinkmanship and political maneuvering, a complex dance of power and influence between two nations deeply intertwined, with Alaska's vital corridor at the center. The Alaska Highway, a crucial artery for the state, has become an unexpected pawn in this international chess match. The idea of Canada impeding access to Alaska strikes a nerve, tapping into deep-seated anxieties about dependence and vulnerability, raising questions about sovereignty and economic stability. The implications extend far beyond mere inconvenience. They challenge the very foundation of the relationship between these two North American giants. For Alaskans, the route through Canada is a lifeline, a critical supply chain for everything from essential goods to fuel. Its disruption, even by financial penalties, has created anxiety, sparking fears of shortages and price hikes in a state already grappling with high living costs, and forced a re-evaluation of a partnership long taken for granted. Decades of cooperation and mutual benefit are now being scrutinized under the harsh light of potential conflict. The tensions are rooted in a broader economic war, as Canadian officials see it, a battle for economic survival in a rapidly changing global landscape. Trump's aggressive trade policies and tariff threats, particularly those targeting key Canadian industries, have forced Canada into a defensive posture, compelling them to explore unconventional strategies to protect their economic interests. British Columbia's proposed actions are a direct countermeasure, a calculated response to what they perceive as unfair trade practices, signaling Canada's willingness to use its leverage to assert its sovereignty and protect its economic future, even at the risk of straining relations. Even if it means disrupting a century-old understanding. The foundations of this long-standing alliance are being tested like never before. To understand what's truly at stake, to grasp the full implications of this standoff, we must look beyond headlines, dissect the proposals, and separate fact from fiction. We need to analyze the underlying motivations and the potential consequences for all parties involved. This is a critical moment for North American relations, a turning point that could redefine the dynamics between these two powerful nations, with Alaska caught in the middle. The fate of Alaska, and indeed the future of the US-Canada relationship, hangs in the balance. At the heart of the controversy, a storm is brewing over a critical artery connecting the United States and Alaska. Is British Columbia's bold proposal, a move that has sent ripples of concern and speculation throughout the North American trade landscape. New legislation to impose tolls, a financial levy on U.S. commercial trucks traveling to Alaska. These are the trucks that keep Alaska supplied with essential goods. This isn't a minor change. It's a significant escalation in trade tensions. It's a direct response to Trump's threats, a retaliatory measure of crippling tariffs on Canadian goods. Tariffs that could devastate key sectors of the Canadian economy. Premier David Eby framed the tolls in a recent address as a necessary defense, a shield against economic aggression, not a revenue scheme, not a simple cash grab, but a tool of economic leverage, a way to apply pressure where it hurts. The legislation would empower the province, giving British Columbia the authority to apply fees specifically to U.S. commercial traffic, singling out those vehicles en route to Alaska, ensuring that the burden falls on those benefiting from the route, minimizing impact on Canadian businesses, protecting local economies from the fallout. It's a calculated move, a strategic decision, targeting a pressure point, exploiting a vulnerability in the U.S. supply chain, a critical choke point for goods heading north. The message from Victoria is clear, a firm and unambiguous statement. If the U.S. harms the Canadian economy with tariffs, if punitive measures are imposed, Canada will use its geographic advantage, leveraging its unique position to impose costs on America, to inflict financial pain in return. For decades, the passage of American trucks, a constant flow of commerce through British Columbia, has been largely unimpeded, symbolized close cooperation, a testament to the strong relationship between the two nations. Now the government is signaling, sending a clear message, that this passage is a privilege, a benefit that can be revoked, not a right. It's a stark shift in perspective. By threatening tolls, by wielding this financial weapon, Premier Eby is turning a route of partnership, a symbol of collaboration, into a front line in a trade war, a key battleground in an escalating conflict. The proposal marks a fundamental shift, a dramatic change in policy, in how Canada views its role, its position, in the US-Alaska supply chain, a critical link that Canada now controls. The stakes are high, the potential consequences are significant, and the impact could be felt. The repercussions could spread far beyond the border, affecting economies and relationships on both sides. The highway is no longer just a road, it's more than just asphalt and concrete, it's a bargaining chip, a powerful tool in a high-stakes game. Let's cut through the noise and get to the heart of the matter. Here's the key fact: despite what you might be hearing, British Columbia hasn't closed any roads, not a single one. As of June 18, 2025, the Alaska Highway and other crucial routes remain open for business, allowing for the seamless flow of goods and services. U.S. trucks are still moving freely across the border, ensuring that trade continues uninterrupted. The alarm and concern stem from a legislative threat, a potential policy shift that has sparked considerable debate. This is not a physical blockade, so rest assured, there are no immediate barriers to travel or commerce. The government has only announced its intention to introduce a bill for future tolls, a proposal that is still in its early stages. Think of it as a warning shot, a signal of potential changes, but certainly not an immediate action that will impact travel today. Implementing tolls on a major highway like this would be an incredibly complex undertaking, fraught with logistical and political challenges. It would require new legislation, significant infrastructure investments, and the deployment of advanced toll collection systems. Furthermore, it would possibly mean overcoming existing international agreements and treaties that govern cross-border traffic. This situation is as much about political theater as it is about actual policy, a strategic move on the part of the Canadian government. It's a credible threat designed to influence U.S. behavior and bring them back to the negotiating table on trade issues. The primary goal isn't to start collecting tolls tomorrow morning, that's not the immediate objective. The real aim is to force a reconsideration of U.S. tariff policies that are perceived as unfair or detrimental to the Canadian economy. Canada is strategically showing that it possesses leverage in this trade relationship, and more importantly, that it is willing to use that leverage if pushed too far by its southern neighbor. Therefore, viral claims of a complete Canada route shutdown are quite simply a misrepresentation of the current situation. These claims are inaccurate and fail to capture the nuances of the political and economic dynamics at play. The reality: the highway is open, traffic is flowing, and goods are being transported. However, it's undeniable that the political climate surrounding this vital trade route is undeniably tense. This toll proposal has transformed the perception of the route, at least for the time being. It has shifted from being a symbol of friendship and cooperation between two nations, into a potential casualty of an escalating trade dispute, a pawn in a larger geopolitical game. So, to reiterate, the road isn't closed and traffic is moving as usual, but a warning sign is definitely up, signaling potential turbulence ahead in this crucial trade relationship. US-Canada relations have undeniably entered a dangerous new territory, one where long-standing partnerships are being tested and re-evaluated. To understand British Columbia's drastic measure, we must look back at Trump's aggressive trade policies toward Canada. His America First agenda targeted even close allies, imposing steep tariffs on Canadian industries like steel and lumber. These tariffs had real consequences, disrupting supply chains and chilling investment. Canadians saw this as a betrayal of free trade, forcing leaders to respond. Ottawa retaliated with tariffs, but Premier Eby felt compelled to act at the provincial level. British Columbia's economy relies on U.S. trade, and Trump's policies were seen as a direct threat. The toll proposal was born from this sense of being under attack. The tariff dispute is the essential context for understanding the toll threat. British Columbia Premier David Eby has become the face of Canada's response. He frames the proposed tolls as a necessary proportional response to U.S. economic aggression. By calling it an economic war, EB galvanized support and sent a clear message to the US. Many Canadians see the proposal as self-defense, not aggression. It signals Canada's willingness to endure short-term pain to protect long-term interests. While other provinces haven't announced similar measures, there's a shared understanding of the challenges posed by US tariffs. Ottawa has responded with its own strategies, but EB's move leverages a unique geographical asset. The public reaction is mixed. Some support the show of strength, others fear escalation. Still, EB's stand reflects a national mood. Canada is at a breaking point. He channels a wider resolve to defend Canadian sovereignty and economic dignity. The toll threat hit Alaska hard. It's not a distant squabble, but a direct threat to daily life. Alaska relies on the highway for essential goods. New tolls mean higher costs for everyone. Political leaders like Senator Dan Sullivan quickly warned British Columbia not to mess with Alaska. Sullivan called the toll proposal a dangerous game, highlighting the risk of rapid deterioration in relations. Alaskans believe their logistical challenges should be respected, not exploited. Business owners and citizens worry about rising costs and economic strain. Industries like construction and retail could face new operational expenses. Alaska is caught in the middle, a pawn in a geopolitical chess match. The states plead de-escalate and don't let Alaska become collateral damage. The stakes for Alaska are immediate and personal. In a twist, Alaska's Republican leaders have become vocal defenders of US-Canada ties. Facing direct economic threats, they're pushing back against the very tariff policies that sparked British Columbia's proposal. The Alaska House passed a bipartisan resolution condemning Trump's tariffs and stressing the importance of the Canada-Alaska relationship. House Majority Leader Chuck Kopp, a Trump supporter, made it clear, it's always been Canada first for Alaska. For Alaskans, the costs of a trade war far outweigh any theoretical benefits. This effort highlights the disconnect between national rhetoric and local realities. Alaskan leaders know cooperation is essential. The resolution is a plea for normalcy and partnership. Alaska's message, the relationship with Canada, is too valuable to sacrifice. As tensions rose, social media exploded with sensational false claims. One viral rumor Trump had posted about annexing parts of Canada or Alaska to secure the route. Fact-checkers debunked these claims. No such posts existed. This was classic digital disinformation designed to provoke fear and anger. Another falsehood, that Canada had already shut down the Alaska Highway. In reality, only a proposal for future tolls exists. No roads are closed. These rumors escalated tensions and muddied the real debate. The truth: the conflict is about policy and rhetoric, not annexation or closed borders. Separating fact from fiction is vital to de-escalation. The situation remains a tense standoff. British Columbia's toll proposal hangs in the air, fueling Alaskan anxiety. The next moves from all parties will determine the future. If US tariff rhetoric continues, Premier Eby may press forward, escalating the conflict. The best hope for de-escalation lies in diplomacy and mutual recognition of dependence. Alaskan voices of reason offer a potential off-ramp. A quiet retreat from aggressive tariffs could allow both sides to step back without losing face. This episode is a stark reminder of the complex, intertwined US-Canada relationship. Alaska's geography makes it a permanent pressure point. Navigating this moment will require careful statesmanship and a focus on shared interests. The world is watching to see if these two old friends can find their way back to cooperation.